Hey guys, it's Sunday, so it's time for a Halo Top 10. Today we're going to talk about the 10 things we need in Halo Infinite. These things aren't guaranteed to be in the game, but they're things that Halo Infinite needs to get right. All this list is, of course, my own opinion, so if you disagree with something I mentioned here, let me know. I do want to hear it in the comments, because we might not agree. You might not want some of these things, or you might have a different order. So, keep in mind this is just my opinion. There's no official list or anything. With all that out of the way, let's get started. So, for number 10, we have the best Forge ever. Forge has been a staple of the Halo series since Halo 3, all the way back in 2007. Games have had map creators for a while now. Games like Far Cry 5 and Doom have honestly kind of raised the bar. But Halo 5 has an amazing, impressive Forge. I just saw a video of somebody playing with arcade games in Halo 5, and it's honestly impressive just how in-depth these map creators are. Forge needs to return in Infinite, and it needs to be more innovative than ever before. Perhaps we could see AI in Forge finally, or we could choose maybe different skyboxes and the way the ground looks and different materials. I mean, Forge has endless possibilities, and Halo Infinite really needs to capitalize on the best Forge yet. At number 9, we need a complete game, and it needs to have a good post-launch roadmap. So in today's day and age, shooters don't stay relevant very long. Of course, that's only if they don't continue to update the game, make it frequently common, changing, evolving. Not too much though, but enough that the game stays interesting. When Halo 5 took this idea, it failed because Halo 5 launched with content that wasn't in the game that was supposed to be. Forge was an update. And Forge is a staple. Forge shouldn't be an update, it should be at launch. Same with Infection, and all these things need to be part of the game at launch. So post-launch, we need new maps, we need new game modes, we need new Forge tools, game updates. All of those things need to be done at launch. Take a look at Apex Legends. Game comes out, very few bugs, everything's working, and we still have a year's worth of content coming. At number 8, we do not need a season pass, and we will have microtransactions, but they need to be less intrusive. One of the best things Halo 5 did was launch without a season pass, all these free updates. The issue is, those updates should have been in the game at first, and of course, the rec packs were not good sets of microtransactions. Those need to stay away from Infinite. Do not return those. They prevented you from having meaningful unlocks. All the armors kind of looked the same. There were so many of them that it didn't really matter, and it was kind of annoying when it's like, oh, I just need this gun for Warzone, and you get an emblem, and an armor that looks the same as everything else, and a helmet that looks really dumb. These microtransactions need to be scaled down. And that kind of leads me into number 7. And at number 7, we have meaningful unlocks. Back in Halo 3, or even in Halo Reach, when you unlocked an armor, it meant something. If you got the Recon armor in Halo 3, you did all the Vidmaster challenges. Those are exclusive, very difficult challenges. Of course, in Halo 3, you had running on ghosts on the final level. In Firefight, you had to survive till, the 3rd set. I don't know what those sets numbers are. But you had to complete the Vidmasters, and those were tough challenges. In Reach, if you got to the, more expensive armors, you had to grind for that. To buy those armors, to get those credits, you had to grind the game. And especially if you got max rank, you got the Inheritor Skull, you looked amazing. In Halo 5, there's no armors you can grind for. And what do you get when you reach max rank? You get an emblem. An awful looking emblem, and it's just not right. At number 6, we need an old, or at least a mixed art style. So the Halo series has been around for a very long time, but there's some significant changes that have taken place in the newer Halo games. The Covenant just look weird. The Spartans look weird. Even Chief, the face of Halo, he just looks weird. He's not the same. Halo Wars 2 managed to take some of the best parts of the new and old art style and just kind of mix it together to make almost a new art style. And it just kind of makes the series more grounded, it looks classic, and of course, I think it's way better than what we have now. So far, Chief is going to look more like he did in Halo 2 or 3, but, the designs on him and some of the Marines, the Warthog, and the Pelican are all we know. Halo Infinite needs to take this all the way. At number 5, we need large, expansive levels. Remember the days of stepping out of the drop pod in Halo 1 and exploring the massive canyon for the first time? Or in Halo 3, when you're on the Covenant, right, and you're chasing down the Banshees and the Phantom. Later on, you're fighting 2 Scarabs. Or exploring the huge levels and everything they had to offer and finding little secrets throughout the levels. There's no kill timers. No, just sitting around talking to NPCs for a mission, and you don't get shuffled down hallways. They were massive, and technically they were just one giant massive hallway, but that's not how they were designed. They were designed so that you could go out and explore the world, explore the area like in Silent Cartographer. At number 4, we need the return of the Flood. Back in the day, we fought both the Covenant and the Flood. They were distinct. They had different styles of combat. The Covenant you were dancing with. You were fighting in a gunfight, and you're trying to dodge the certain different types of enemies. And the Flood charged you with poppers, popcorn, combat forms, all these cool things. And of course, nowadays, we have Covenant gunfights and then Promethean gunfights, and they just feel too similar. I mean, they're both just generic enemies that are shooting you. Prometheans aren't nearly as fun to fight, of course. And I think mixing it up, having the Flood attack you, instead of just the Prometheans shooting at you, was way better. And Halo Wars 2 teased us with a little bit of a Flood campaign, but return these classic enemies to the game, and it means so much to Halo's story in general, why the rings were created. So seeing these classic enemies would honestly, it would just be greatly appreciated. At number 3, we really need just great map design. Halo 5 is an extremely competitive game, and that's both good and bad. It's good because, well, it's fun, it's competitive, you want to get better, but the bad of it is every single match is highly competitive and just unnecessarily sweaty. On top of this, the maps are small. Most of them seem like they're 3 lanes, and they're just copies and remixes of each other, and, even in the DLC, they just kind of had a lot of remixes of, oh, it's the same map, but it's got vegetation and slightly different sites and stuff like that. Back in the day, we had, weird maps, and they were great. We had Beaver Creek. It was small, but that's just weird, but it was a good map. It was a ton of fun. We had High Ground in Halo 3, and that's not a symmetrical map whatsoever. It's completely lopsided for one team, and it's amazing. It's a ton of fun to play. There's nothing symmetrical at all about Sword Base and Halo Reach. These maps were amazing, and they were a ton of fun. Some of the best maps in those games, and Infinite needs stuff like that. They need maps that don't make sense, and they're not competitive, but they're just a ton of fun. And also, bring back a Big Team Slayer and Big Team Battle and all that stuff. Give them actual maps, not forge maps. And of course, we do need classic gameplay. This is something that's a little more controversial. You might not agree with me on this one, but I would like to see classic gameplay return. Stop sprinting across the map, and stop elongating the maps because you have to accommodate for sprint. Make it feel like I'm a soldier. Back when you were in Halo 3, the Marines looked to you because, yeah, you could take more hits with your shield, and you were faster and stronger technically. It didn't feel like you were super powered. In the end, it was boots on the ground combat. You fought alongside them, storming the beach in Silent Cartographer, or you waited with them for the Pelicans to pick you up in Halo. I mean, you weren't just boosting across the map with thrusters. You weren't Iron Man. You weren't ground pounding enemies. You weren't Spartan charging. You were like a soldier on steroids, and it felt good. And that doesn't even talk about the multiplayer aspects that you have to change, of course, with the maps and everything. It's just a different style of gameplay, so just give me the classic gameplay for Halo Infinite. And of course, we need a great story for both new and old fans. Just tell a story that's simple, and it makes a couple bold moves, but, also play it safe. We're going to be back on a Halo ring, and it's going to be just like Halo 1, Halo 2, and a little bit of Halo 3, right? Give us levels like that. Start the campaign off on a spaceship, like, the Infinity, the UNSC Infinity. Have a sniper level, have a nighttime sniper level, or daytime, it doesn't really matter. End the campaign on a Warthog run. I mean, I'm not a story writer, I don't know, how to connect all these dots, right? But make it feel like Halo. Make it feel like it makes sense, and like it's a Halo game, and I'm gonna enjoy it. No more Team Osiris. Don't give me disobeying orders, no Cortana Overlord. Just give me an impactful and fun campaign. Now, obviously, it's a top 10 list, so there's a lot of things that didn't make the list. Of course, there are things like playable elites, the return of classic firefight, a working theater mode, and several other things that maybe you really, really want in this game. And if your top 10 is different from mine, just let me know in the comments below. And of course, if you watched the entire video, thank you for watching. The channel is growing really well, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. I've been balancing the YouTube stuff with like college and all that stuff, so I do want to improve the quality of the videos. For the top 10s in particular, I have a couple of new changes coming because I don't like the editing style I'm currently doing. I'm going to change that, hopefully as soon as next week. But again, if you agreed, disagreed, liked the video, any of that stuff, let me know down below. It really does mean a lot, and I want to continue to grow the channel. Thanks again, and I hope to see you all in the game.